I am so excited because when I was going grocery shopping last week, I was getting my typical package of tofu when I noticed right next to it, a new type of tofu, chickpea tofu. I am thrilled to try out these recipes that are included on the package as well as some of my typical tofu recipes to see how it measures up to regular tofu. So let's try it out. One cool thing that I've learned is that you do not need to press chickpea tofu. When you are cooking more of an extra firm tofu, you will probably want to press your tofu, but with chickpea tofu, you can skip that step. So let's start by making my typical go-to tofu recipe to see how it measures up. I drained the liquid from the package and now we'll just open it up. It kind of looks similar to silken tofu, but it's pretty firm like a firm tofu. So let's just chop it up in cubes. You know, they say that chickpeas are the new cauliflower and that you're gonna start seeing chickpeas in a lot of packaged foods like you have with cauliflower, just to give us more plant-based variety. We'll add it to a bowl. I'm first going to add some soy sauce. I usually just add enough to cover the tofu. Then we'll add some onion powder, again, just enough to cover everything, and garlic powder. You could also use tamari or coconut aminos if you're trying to avoid soy. I always add just the tiniest dash of maple syrup to my tofu just to make it lightly sweet. It adds a really good flavor. Not too much though, we don't want this to be sweet. And then we'll mix that together. It looks great, every piece is coated. It actually handles really well, it's pretty firm. It's not falling apart too easily, pretty similar to tofu. Okay, let's preheat my air fryer. We'll get that started, and while it's warming up, we'll add the tofu to our pan here. All right, here we go. We'll air fry this at 400 for about 15 minutes. I'll be checking on it about every 5 minutes, just in case though, since this is my first time making chickpea tofu. Okay, it looks like 15 minutes for the tofu was the perfect amount, maybe except for those guys on the end, but this looks so yummy. This will be so good over salads with potatoes, yum. Okay, I'm gonna try it out. Little chickpea tofu. Interesting. It's like gooey on the inside, huh. I like it. It's kind of like eating a potato. It's good. It's really yummy. They look good and they taste good. The cool thing about this tofu is it actually comes with a recipe. So today we're gonna try out this recipe. You'll just peel it off of the package and it is chickpea tofu churros. I'm excited to try it out. So I've drained the package and now we'll just pull it out. And it says to cut the chickpea tofu into strips, like a churro. Now it wants me to add a half a cup of vegetable oil, and I actually don't even buy vegetable oil. I don't have it in my house. And it wants me to fry these little cinnamon sticks. So that's not an option for me. So instead I'll just spray it with some vegetable oil that I happen to have, and we'll make that work. And it will be a little bit healthier. So we'll just kind of pan fry these instead of soaking them in oil. I clearly don't pan fry things very often. Tastes good though. Okay, these are almost all the way cooked through. A little bit mangled, but it'll work. To make just a cinnamon sugar mix, all you need is just sugar and cinnamon. I'm just gonna put it on a plate. I already had a pre-mixed bit of cinnamon and sugar because my kids like cinnamon sugar toast sometimes. And then we'll just add, mix it around, and then flip everything. Look at that, oh my goodness. Okay, churro chickpea tofu. That's really good, wow. Yeah, that's yummy. Better than I thought it'd be. Crispy on the outside, melts in the middle. I added more cinnamon. I was out of regular sugar, and so I did powdered sugar. Yeah, so good.
This tofu?
It's chickpea tofu.
Oh.
If you're like me and you like to experiment with new plant-based recipes, then I know you will love our free 1-week meal guide. Just make sure to grab it with the link below. You'll also love all of our plant-based meal guides that are included below. Check them out while you're there. Okay, now I'm dying to know if I can make chickpea tofu scramble. It could be a disaster. It could be awesome. I don't know. Let's try it out. Take our package and then you'll cut it and drain the excess liquid in the sink. Okay, let's try to crumble this and see what happens. Okay, it's crumbling. This chickpea tofu is definitely softer, more gooey in the middle. Let's see if that is a good thing or a bad thing when it comes to tofu scramble. Okay, so unlike tofu, it looks like I do need to add a little bit of oil. It kind of comes onto the pan, so I'm just gonna spray some oil. Yeah, tofu I can get away with it a little bit better. You see, it kind of is a little mushy. All right, but let's add the seasoning. It's gonna be 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Now we'll add about 1/4 of a teaspoon of turmeric, even though it's already kind of yellow. And then a teaspoon, I'm gonna do a teaspoon of salt, and then just sprinkle with some garlic powder and onion powder. Honestly, this looks more like a mashed potato. I'm all about trying new things, you know? Yeah, it just kind of mashes up. You're not gonna be able to make your typical tofu scramble with chickpea tofu. Let's be real. But it could taste yummy, like a big fat mashed potato. Okay, let's top this with some green onions to make it at least look a little better. Let's try this out. You know, the flavor is really good, but this is the texture of mashed potatoes. Just like it looked like in the pan, it definitely kind of tastes like just a different variety of mashed potatoes, but it tastes good. This is not the same as regular tofu scramble, which feels like an egg. But with the green onions, this is actually really yummy. I would add this as a side to something. Tastes good, totally new dish. Definitely not your typical tofu scramble. Let's make one final chickpea tofu recipe, and this one is also from the little recipe guide that's included. Today we'll make some chickpea tofu egg salad with the recipe that's included on the package. Okay, in a bowl, you will add a half a cup of plant-based mayo. I usually don't have mayo on hand, but I happen to grab this on sale at Trader Joe's. You can also use hummus if you don't like using mayo. A little less than half a cup. I don't love using tons of mayo, but we'll see how that goes. Then we'll add 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard, then 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of dried dill. We'll mix all of that together and we'll set that aside. Next, we'll chop up 1/4 of a red onion. I like to make it nice and small so my kids don't notice it's in there. Then we'll add 2 stalks of celery. Now we mash in the chickpea tofu. Similar to how we did the tofu scramble, we'll kind of mash it in like that. Let's drain it. If you want this to be more egg-like, you can also add in some turmeric to make it a little more yellow, just like a dash. We'll say this does kind of have the texture of hard-boiled eggs, so I can see how this recipe could work to feel like an egg. Okay, I'm putting everything in a bigger bowl, and let's just mix it around in here. Okay, this looks just like egg salad. Let's see if it tastes like it. I don't even like egg salad, or I didn't like egg salad growing up because I didn't love mayo or eggs, but I'm all about chickpeas, so. Okay, that's a good recipe. Yeah, that's yummy. That's super yummy. I would even add pickles to this. I'm gonna add some pickles because I love the taste of pickles. This is really good. I like it. I'm gonna whip up a tortilla really quick to place it on top. I'm so excited to try this. I actually love the texture of the chickpea tofu for this particular recipe. It's perfect. Pickles. So good. I'll probably try making it with like a vegan yogurt or a hummus too to see if I can bring down the fat, but it's really yummy. Now, if you want to make any of these recipes and you're wondering where in the world do I even buy chickpea tofu? Well, just so you know, it's available at Whole Foods for sure. That's where I found it. It's just in the tofu aisle, in the tofu section. Or you may be lucky enough to find it in your local grocery store, which I was able to find as well. Either way, it's fun trying new plant-based things. After trying 4 new chickpea tofu recipes, I think the verdict is most of my family ate the go-to tofu recipes. They came home and just snacked on them like it was nothing. They love those. And I personally also really like the egg salad. They were a hit. My twins also devoured the churros, and I don't think anyone else even got to taste them. But personally, I think it tastes like flan, which was really good. If you like these recipes, then I know you will absolutely love my other saucy tofu recipes. You'll definitely want to check those out, or even my beginner tofu recipes as well.